Hello and welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our weekly show all about the shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg and this is...
Enemy of Craig, Matt Strange. And this is...
Praying to the on the side that this works, Muir.
How are you guys doing?
I am remarkably serene today. I was a bit frustrated this morning, and then my iguana decided to shit all over a pen, and I mean like proper like pint glass full of water pre-shit, because iguana shit in a weird way. And I kind of like had a screaming outrage burst. And I'm like very, very monk-like today, shall we say. I've reached inner peace through explosion. How are you boys doing?
You've used up all your anger.
Yeah.
Oh, you might need to get some of that back later.
It'll build back up. You know what I'm like. The bar just emptied temporarily. It'll refill up whilst I think about dark.
Quick apology. Yes, this recording is late. Obviously, if you're listening to it in the future, that won't matter. But we had some serious problems with our usual recording software, so we are using something else now. Hopefully this will work better and we won't get the issues we had where on Monday we restarted the show about 7 times.
There was much screaming.
There was a lot of bad language. This might be the first time you've listened to our show, and as such you would need to know that we have a tier list, which is how we give our scores for the shows in general of BTE, Dark and Dynamite, and the individual matches from Dynamite. And Mr. Strange will now explain our tier list in some form that I've not heard before.
Yeah, you've definitely not heard this before. Okay, so alpha numerical tier list, sort of. It comes from school systems, computer games. You might know it from other YouTube channels. We work up through letters to decide how good a match is. And I like to throw a bit of funk on. So this week, with the help of Muir, we will be ranking things and comparing things to...
remember what the list was.
Don't worry, we'll get it. Times the Undertaker has retired or indicated he's retiring. Obviously, the big man has now definitely retired and will not be back.
Apparently.
Not be back for any Saudi blood money. So, D rank is our lowest ranking match or section. It's something where you don't care, the story's not there, the wrestling's not good, the match doesn't matter, everything about it is awful and you feel bad. Like the Goldberg Undertaker Saudi Arabia match. What a wonderful moment in the dead man's career that was. If a match feels to you like the Undertaker Goldberg match, that's a D rank match. Then we move up to a C rank match. C rank is what we come to expect from an average match. It's good. It doesn't mean it's bad. We expect good wrestling, enough story. Sure, you might look away, play on your phone a bit, but you've been entertained by the moment in the show, and it's what we expect for an average match or step down. Like the Kane Undertaker tag team step down thing that I don't know much about, but Muir will now say why it was an average good.
It wasn't. It was the most average of Undertaker things, but it was awful. I think, didn't Shawn Michaels' hair fall off? Kane's mask fell off. It was a fucking nightmare.
But on the scale of Undertaker step downs,
it was
average.
It's the
average.
Yeah.
It's the midpoint.
Damn retirements, mate. Come on.
A B ranker match has just that step up from a C. It's what we'd like every match to be. It may well be the match of the night. It's got story and heart going in. The wrestling is solid to great. Maybe it tilts a bit in one way. Maybe the story is a bit lacking, but the match is phenomenal, or vice versa. And on the Undertaker scale, that's actually got to be the current retirement. It seems kind of respectful, nice. We're seeing a lot of humanity from Mark Calloway, a lot of character, and that's what I want from my B-ranked matches: character. An A-rank match is probably a match of the month. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's of the show, of the weekly episode. Yeah. It's got you don't look away. You tweet about it or text to your mates about it. It's got story. It's got wrestling. Both of these are great to phenomenal. Once again, it can tilt a little bit, but you are entertained to start to end, like the Undertaker's Boneyard match against AJ. Which could have been an S if AJ won for The Undertaker to retire, but instead he rode off into the sunset and we were all really pleased with the match. An A-rank match. An A-rank disappearing if he hadn't, come back. An S-rank match is that match you get once in a blue moon. It's the top. The story's phenomenal. Maybe it's the conclusion to the storyline. Maybe it's a big one coming in. The wrestling is superb. You show gifs of it to your mates who don't even watch wrestling. It's everything you want and need. And in all honesty, The Undertaker's possibly best moment, he could have just stepped down and walked away and left a legacy. Could have been leaving his gear in the ring for Roman. Great moment, passing of the torch, the new, the big dog.
The big dog.
The big dog. That's what you want. You want a moment that will linger in memory, providing you don't butcher it like a few weeks later. So that's our scale. D, shit. C, good. B, awesome. A, amazing. S, superb. Stands in legend. Obviously, all of The Undertaker's retirements are actually D because he came back from all of them.
Excellent. So, moving on. Now it's time for the news. And Mr. Strange, do you want to open up with your piece of news you got this week?
Twitter drama, would you believe? However, since we last fucked up this recording, I got the name of the actual dude.
My God. You get better with every recording.
Boys, I'm ready. So, it turns out a sound or editing engineer from AEW went a bit crazy on Twitter. His name is Louis Benson, if you wish to look it up. Big beardy man. And Louis Benson talked about how Cody didn't like him and was shunning him, and other staff would keep him away from Cody out of like fear of the politics in wrestling and a lot of stuff about gatekeeping. And he may have been threatened by a really tall Hall of Famer, which can only really be DDP. I can't particularly picture DDP threatening people, but here we are. And it was all very dramatic and it kicked off. But then on the other side, we got some stuff of old Louis Benson using certain words that you shouldn't use. One being an N word and the other being an F word. Not the 4-letter F word, the longer one that's offensive to the LGBT community. In the past, and don't get me wrong, I've said the past should be allowed to be forgiven if they've advanced since then. But I can still imagine Cody not wanting to be around somebody who's casually used the N-word. But then another staff member came out and had some messages from old Mr. Benson sending pictures of like his body and asking if it was okay and being like lightly creepy, flirty man. So whereas we never should bully people and this drama with Louis Benson may seem harsh on him, it doesn't seem like he's completely clean.
Innocent, yeah.
Yeah, so more news as this drama
unfolds
continues.
Next time we do this.
What has Louis Benson done? Is he an innocent victim who's a better man now, or is he a creepy racist dude? Who knows? Follow me, Matt Strain, on this journey. So yeah.
Next piece of news, we've got a possible AEW Impact partnership, which could be interesting. I know Mr. Muir's very against this.
I can't get angry about this again. I've been angry about this 4 or 5 times now. We don't need more wrestlers. Please stop.
All I'm saying is, on Impact last night, Swoggle came out as AJ Styles, and Swoggle was also in Talking Shopomania and was in last week's AEW. He is the complete linchpin, and I hope we get Chucky T versus Swoggle too.
It was the phenomenal Swoggle, like somehow blended into it, the phenomenal one, and it was just freaking amazing. That's what I want for my wrestling. But yeah, no, we don't need more stars.
I'm okay with it if we get the Motor City Machine Guns versus.
But then Dark will be 4 hours. Why won't you listen to me?
What if they just use it for some wrestling exchanging? I am not looking forward to Dark. And I'm the man who watches all of it.
Okay. So, next bit of news.
Yes, Mr. Muir, over to you.
So, interesting if you care about ratings or anything like that. Last week, Raw had probably the biggest match they possibly could have, which is Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre for the belt. Belt changes hands to McIntyre. And they still did worse ratings in the 18 to 34. Yeah. For male and females by AEW. So it does kind of show that there's something seriously wrong when their flagship show can't have their flagship belt change hands and they still can't beat an average AEW show on the ratings. So, yeah.
This
You guys
is good
win
news
again.
for us. I will say quickly, we're not really a WWE hating podcast. When they
God,
do things
no.
right, they are very good. And I watched SummerSlam yesterday and thoroughly enjoyed quite a lot of it. And did watch Sasha Banks versus Asuka and go, I have missed good Western women's wrestling.
All you need to do, Morg.
A match with a Joshi in it.
New
still-
Japan chat here.
I'm pretty sure that had a Joshi in it as well. Asuka. Carrying.
I don't think Sasha Banks needs carrying. Let's be fair
does.
here.
Watches every match, and you know it. Come on, let's move on.
She usually just
Move
tries to
on,
kill
kids.
herself. Moving on, Mr. Strange, social media of the week. What have you got for us?
We had a bit of other potential drama when Shayna did a tweet about Anna Jay's challenge, basically saying she's got no heart, no fire, I don't give a fuck. And some people took that as her like burying old Anna Jay. It's at Shayna Hikaru and at Anna Jay with like a double underscore or something after it for them both on Twitter. And some fans got offended at that, but then in honesty, it sort of picked back up. Anna Jay did some counter shit talking, and there's actually a little bit of like beef drama building for them in preparation for their fight. I hope it's on the show because of the. I
It'll
already
be on
watched so much.
Dark.
Oh God! Which fucking hour? I am
Hour
powering
4.
up.
We'll just keep mentioning Dark and you'll soon be powered up.
Right.
Ah.
Yeah, so otherwise, I always thought it was a bit of a silly promo. She's had 6 months in the ring now, so she's not a rookie. What? But yeah, carry on.
To be fair, Anna Jay is one of your best women's wrestlers.
Got Hirsch now.
But
Hirsch.
I quite like Hikaru Shida brushing her off a little.
Well,
Does
yeah,
make me
It was
wonder whether
probably
they're
a
gonna go
language
for
barrier thing, to be honest.
it's probably just it was probably just in character.
I'd say
I
a
think
mix.
It was
I know
just that simple. I think it was just in character. It's
my
that
missus explains a lot of Japanese to me, a lot of it, because
Yes,
she
she does.
speaks some, and a lot of their context doesn't flow into ours very well, and it's something neither side really quite gets. And if you watch a lot of anime, you'll see that not having passion and not having fighting is very much a thing in their stories.
Yeah.
So it's in character, but it can read to a Western audience as being a little cold, where it's sort of a little bit more inspirational, realistically. The weeb and actual Japan knower in me says.
So, time to move on to our review of the week, and we start off, as always, with BTE or Being the Elite. Mr. Muir, you're going to have to lead on this because I watched this week's BTE yesterday, so you're going to have to remind
that
me
was
of
your
what happened.
mistake. Now I'm
yes.
trying to remember what happened with this.
This one had the best prank I've ever seen. I used to do some shit in high school. We'd arrange car boot sales at people's houses, fill lockers with custard, all manner of different shit.
But
Sammy
nothing on this,
sawing a remade belt in half is the absolute best fucking prank I've ever seen. And I know I've jumped ahead in the show, but damn, it was fucking wicked and I loved it.
Quick shout out to Sammy's vlog from last week where he gets loads more people than just the Bucks with it, including Trent.
Champ. I wouldn't make Trent angry.
Throw you through a room.
Trent has never left his first Japanese match. It's still in his head. He exists only as Warrior now.
Right, so this started with Kaz and the Dark Order. And
Angry Kaz is great.
I'm trying to remember what happened, but I remember that Kaz was complaining that he still had the Matt Hardy voodoo curse on him from when he was turned into like the 1960s wrestler, basically. Then I've got Peter Avalon being bullied again.
He got on with them a bit more. He was drinking. They
Yeah.
shit talked him. I'm enjoying that. I was dubious of Avalon's new gimmick at the start, but I'm kind of enjoying shit Lothario Avalon now. I've
It's
seen
more
of it.
interesting, definitely.
And
Then we had-
they played Among Us.
Oh god, yeah, that's later on. Then we had Sammy cutting the belt in half,
Phenomenal. Just
which
the
was
best.
fantastic. Then we had Kaz bullying Brandon for saying that he had a streak going on when he had 2 victories and calling him like a mark and all this shit, which was brilliant.
Angry Kaz is the best fucking thing. He's just great.
Then he
needs anger management.
Yes, he does.
I fucking need anger management.
Then we had poor Stu Grayson getting bullied again by Anna Jay, being lobbed across the table as she walked past him. Then we had the best friend skit, which had fucking made me pissed because it just had them trying to start a skit, it failing, and then 5 seconds into it, just trying to look at the camera going, the skit's not good, and then it cut away.
It panned to the captain who was with them.
Oh yeah, it did, didn't it?
And he was like, it's bad.
The captain is now best friend.
Yeah, I was like, I don't get this this section a bit too much. Normally they're better than this. And then it panned across to just the captain. I was like, they're continuing their Twitter joke. Good lads.
Right. Then we had the Dark Order again, and Silver admitted that he had not seen Stu Gayson's asshole, being the only asshole he hadn't seen in the room. Then they tried to cheer him up, if I remember correctly, and Ten got out the coke again, which is the best long-standing joke. Instantly gets cocaine out anytime anybody's sad. Then we had the hug, and again angry about not getting the hug off Silver.
As I said last week, I'd hug 10 too.
Yes, mate.
And then they tortured 5.
Yes.
Cut off all of his hair and possibly his penis. I'm not sure.
We gotta hit him with sticks. And then we had Matt Hardy actually bringing a new character, which was like smug, arrogant Matt, which I think is my favourite who's brought in so far.
Yeah, it's looking like this
basically
is a setup for heel Matt.
It's sort of a big money Matt, but more arrogance over, like pride over previous things and money. I love it. I think Matt needs a gimmick. Him talking to Ring about being wrestling for ages was shit. Him doing it with "I'm the fucking best" is actually really funny.
Yeah. Then we had Silver and Trent for the belt with water flipping. And then they screamed about Pizza Boy for freaking ages.
Boy!
Which, God knows.
No, I can explain this. I understood it. So, there's a picture from one of John Silver's matches where he's doing his F5 on a guy, and he's got his one hand up from where it's thrown, so it looks like he's tossing the man like a pizza. Unfortunately, nobody else at the time got the joke. It's kind of made it a bit better, just looking at him with his dead eyes. Like a shark.
That's Trent's charm, though. You leave him alone. And then the belt changed hands because Silver won the coin flipping, which was a shoot, apparently. It was actually that. And that's how the BT ended. I think it had some great moments this week.
Yeah, really solid dark. Last week, technically.
BTA,
Yeah. You know, it was a really good one. I really enjoyed it. I think it's worth a watch. And we get updates now from Zach, who appeared for our Fighter Fest.
Yeah.
Whichever the last pay-per-view was special. He just messages us going, "Oh, it's really funny," and blah, blah, blah at different moments. So it's a good sign that even though we, old and jaded people, enjoyed it, so did the new generation of wrestling fans.
Well,
the kids.
That's good news to happen. More on Zach later.
You don't want to put stuff on Zach.
Overall, what do you reckon? B?
Yeah, B rank one I'd watch.
Yeah,
it made me
I
laugh
think
a
it was
lot.
B. Yeah. It had some great moments, especially the Sammy belt cutting bit. That was fantastic.
God, it's that fucking wicked. It appeals to everything in my teenage self.
I thoroughly recommend go and watch Sammy's vlog for last week because it's well worth seeing him get everyone with that.
Yeah, no shit. It's a really good remake of a belt. That's top tier. I'm jealous. Jealous and angry that I've been out pranked and I've done some awful shit.
Moving on, so it's time for our review of Dark. Mr. Strange.
I have watched this. I have watched it, but I have no notes, and I don't remember any of it because I watched the Cinderella tournament straight after it to cheer myself up.
If you boys have any comments, just ping me, or I'm
I
going
will
to speed
do.
through this.
Go,
Feel free to speed through.
Okay, so we open up with a 6-man tag. It's Jobbers versus the Guns. The Guns with Colton. He's actually stepped into the ring. Least interesting of the Guns. Nothing against him. Hopefully builds a gimmick.
My one comment on this. God, Colton looks like his dad.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Their theme tune's a banger as well. I
love the Gun Club theme tune. That's great.
Austin hit somebody with a trip. You know, the drop-down trip.
Yeah.
I have never seen
anybody trip over it. Everyone always jumps
never.
It.
You could tell Colton that was the least experienced of them, though. You know, he didn't quite have that flair and little bit of smoothness in the ring that obviously experience gives. And I don't know, Austin's just great. I love him. Felt like the win came a bit out of nowhere, but otherwise it was a solid match. If I was going to rank it, other than the fact I've written the note of there was no Faymaster, F. It's a C. It was fine,
but no Faymaster is a problem.
Then Lance came out to his new theme tune that doesn't sound like Bon Jovi anymore, which was... Lance Archer promo. Lance I think Lance has got a little bit too soft. I think he needs to bring a little bit of gruff back into his voice, but he is still getting better. Like, you know, he's gone too much to like, as opposed to, just to keep a little bit of that roughness in it. And we roll into the 1003rd Starks match I've seen. Titan versus Starks.
Did he win?
He did.
My God.
And it was fine. Titan came out in a Spawn pattern top. He had the M's of Melboja on there. It was solid. Once again, Ricky match. Cool. Every week. All right. Then we rolled into Marco versus Joey. What the fuck is Marco's like slow motion music coming out? It was awful and I hated it. Being a big critic of intro music. Joey has returned to indie, and that's where I like him. Indie style Joey, with just being beaten, doing moves, stupid facial expressions is
what
great.
He's best at.
And you could tell these two knew how to handle each other. I didn't actually hate Marco doing things. They were very comfortable with each other. Joey knew how to take moves from Marco as well, which is really important. Because when Marco's like just looking like a badass and people are flying away from him, it looks like they're fighting freight train. But when somebody knows how to fight Marco and take that momentum as well as he can give it at times, it's a lot better. And the sit out avalanche cradle shot for the finish was actually fucking badass. That was a cool move. But once again, as much as I've just hyped this matchup, I think that's because I've not enjoyed Joey for a while. I've not really enjoyed Marco for a while. But this was solid. Just a C rank, solid match. Didn't piss me off. Then what did we get? The waiting room bit with Britt Baker, which I didn't really get. She did make the Power Ranger joke that I've been making about Eddie Kingston, though, which proves they've been listening to our podcast. Then TH2 wandered out, and it was just very dub-dubby. You know what I mean?
It was painfully dub-dubby, this bit.
I think they're thinking about giving Britt Baker a talk show segment. Maybe they're just testing. At least we're getting other stuff on Dark.
Yeah, no.
The problem is they're adding other stuff, but they're not decreasing the amount of wrestling, so it's just getting longer.
Actual favourite moment of this was Angelico at the end, where he went, touch me, and she touched him, and he just danced backwards out of the room.
I love his white boy dancing. It makes me so happy every time I see it.
But, yeah, it wasn't the best section. Then we roll into Kaz versus Griff, which was obviously solid and smooth. Griff's good. There were some cool sequences. Kaz is good and smooth. I think Griff could learn a lot from Kaz. I think his physique, shape, and the stuff he does, is very good with Kaz. Yeah, just a good match. I enjoyed it. Once again, a C. Yeah, solid. Then we roll into our first of 4 women's matches on this Dark.
I know, that was impressive, wasn't it?
I wondered if they're trying to get them over on Dark so people appreciate them more on Dynamite, maybe. Either way, this wasn't a good start for it. There was a Vampire Larper came out.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about her.
Morg, you're a resident goth. Anything about the Vampire Larper?
No, she's all right.
Yeah. Versus Penelope Ford.
Oh, God.
Solid, if clumsy.
This is not the Penelope that I had started to fall in love with wrestling.
No, she had a really good start, and I always said she'd have one botch a match, and I'd be like, she botched that. That was my cynicism, and it's like she's got worse. And her off the rope cutter, they're never within the correct distance, never. No. So I gave this one a D. I
think that is completely fair. It was not a smooth match at all.
Although I am low ranking this women's match lower, don't worry, it gets more positive in the future.
It does.
Then we had Cutler versus Rising, and this was actually one of Cutler's better matches, if I'm honest. I really like Rising.
Rising's great.
Yeah, he can just do everything. As I've said before, he's a good mid-card wrestler. I couldn't see him at the top of a card, but he's actually just...
He's great as a trenchman in just the middle.
Yeah, and he worked really well with Cutler. These two had a great match. I'm not sure Cutler is ready enough on the promo game to be pushed into the big league because his voice doesn't match his actually pretty badass LARPer look, if I'm honest, on the nerd scale. Still a C, good solid wrestling, but there's a lot of C's, and after a while, the C's start getting boring. Tesha Price versus Layla was next up, and both these solid. Obviously, I love Hirsch with a passion. I love her body language. She's got loads of cool counters. Tesha missed a couple of things, missed a swing kick and stuff, but in all honesty, this was just really good. Like, it wasn't like a high C. Hirsch's step-up moonsault thing is just fucking immense, and I love it.
It is really cool, ain't it?
Especially as she's just like such a tiny tank woman. Once again, still
Queen
a
of the
C.
Dwarf.
Still a C, but I'm excited for both of the women who are in this match, and I've got high hope. This gave me more hopes for the women's league.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. Also, very quickly, just to do our regular comment on this, when we refer to dwarves, we are talking about fantasy
Oh yeah, good fucking point.
Lord of the Rings, Hobbits.
Yeah.
Hobbits, when we refer to her as being the Queen of the Dwarves, it's because she looks like she ought to be in an extra in Lord of the Rings.
He should be wearing scale mail and stood next to Pac, who's in chains, next to a big pile of gold with a big stone.
I say this as much as my love of dwarfs. It's not an insult. I love dwarfs.
I honestly hadn't thought about
that. No, me neither.
We've got so accustomed to saying Dwarven Kingdom and stuff that it's just become dwarves now. Oh, God, that's awful. Right, okay. TNT versus LE. Fuck's LE. Oh, it was meant to be JB. TNT versus Jurassic Express.
Oh, yeah.
My notes have basically broken down at this point because I'm like an hour in. Yeah. This was actually a really solid match. TNT are great. I'm excited for their future. Jungle Boy is fucking phenomenal. Could have been longer. I'd honestly say that. And I've been critical of them before. Luchasaurus.
I think Jurassic Express have come back again now.
They've learned new sequences.
They are regularly, I would say, one of the must-watch matches, or not must-watch, but one of the watch matches on Dark.
They're a fun tag team, though.
Yeah, they've now they've like evolved a little bit from the we saw like the same match so often, and they got a bit overpushed. And poor old Dinosaur isn't great on the mic. Maybe they're taking promo lessons. I don't know, but either way, their matches are always solid. Jungle Boy is great. As I gave this a C, and I think it should have been longer. I didn't see enough of either team, realistically. Then on my notes, we have a big line drawn across where it says "Start watching." And I think that's fair, if I'm honest. We opened up with D3, who I love, the Dice, and Angel Fashion versus the Acclaimed, who have their tag team now. And I've been excited for the Acclaimed since...
They are good fun, aren't they?
Oh, Bowens is great. He's just genuinely great, and he looks like an angry little quarterback.
And Max Caster's fun.
And Max Caster is good, but fun. I criticised his rapping last week because I said when he was trying to be good, it was actually not as good as him being shit. But this week, I think he was a bit more on board with it. He'd had a bit more of a practice, and it worked all right. Saying D3 was a Mighty Ducks movie made me piss in the rap.
That is brilliant.
Wasn't it? This was probably the best match thus far on the show, in my opinion. I really like Bowens. Their finisher's really good. The other guys, sold and worked with them. It was short but good. Solid C.
And it was two jobber teams.
Exactly.
And one of them won. It's nice. Some progression.
Yeah, so I'm excited for these boys. Then we had Ivelisse versus Gracie, who I don't have a first name or surname because I wrote Jobber originally. Solid start. This was this was pretty good. They weren't 100% smooth together,
but we got good Elise for this match.
Yeah, well, I actually my bottom note is this is the Ivelisse more gloves. That's one of my notes.
Yep.
They had some cool sequences. She was selling. She was into it. We had facial expressions. Yeah, a solid women's match. This is once again the kind of women's match we need on the show.
No, it must stay on dark.
So, people who watch more women's wrestling than me, do you have anything additional to add to the Ivelisse Gracie match?
It's just nice to see Evie caring. Like, when she cares, she's one of the best, but she just sometimes just comes into that ring and it's like, come on.
I think she might have learned her lesson to not do that after Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa.
Just beat her up, yeah. Hopefully.
Taught her a lesson on that one.
Yeah.
Speaking of Thunder Rosa, the next match was Thunder Rosa versus Lindsay Snow, and I was instantly on board with Lindsay Snow. She walked out, and I was like, "Yeah, she looks fucking badass. I'm on board." This was a bit more of an NWA match again. It might have been a bit slow for some, I'd say. It was a lot more Thunder Rosa NWA style, yeah. But it was all solid. Like this was just solid wrestling through and through. There were times where they obviously weren't that comfortable together and stuff, but once again, these are women's matches I would prefer to see. It was so different to the previous one, which had a bit more of like that lucha-y sort of flair to it. So yeah, a C again, good match. Just start getting these women who are better than your main roster women in main matches.
Yes, mate.
Then we rolled into. Do either of you boys have anything to say on that women's match?
It was a really good, solid, like you said, it was a really good technical mat match.
Exactly, and it's nice to have that difference in style. We get that with the men's, and now we can see it with the women's, which I like. From there, we roll into the Avalon promo of his shit date, fucking Avalon. I wasn't feeling it, but now I am. Don't know if he's growing on you boys, but
I like shit Lothario. It makes me laugh.
Yeah, I admit I quite liked it from the beginning, and I like the way that everything is so budget, no matter what. So it was last week it was a meal in a lift, or elevator.
Crackers in an Uber.
And this week it was crackers in an Uber, not in a chauffeur-driven car. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. And also the fact that I think we know it's either Kaz or Christopher Daniels is the
hand.
It's the hand.
It's gonna be Kaz. It has to be. Then we rolled into yet another women's match. Swole versus Kylan King. I've been excited about Kylan King for quite a while, and she's got a coat now. So that's kind of nice. This was the second match tonight to have a successful trip. Would you believe? That's twice where dropping down and somebody has actually fallen over. This match, they weren't as smooth together as they could have been, but it had a lot of heart, and it got King over in a lot of places. I'm not sure we should have had a tap out, if I'm completely honest. But yeah, still a C-rank match. This was actually kind of cool, if I'm honest. These 3 women's matches in a row showed us a bunch of different talents, and hopefully what we'll get more of on the main show.
Yeah, that's what we gotta hope, isn't it? That they start using this and moving it over a bit, It would be nice.
I'm always okay with a tap out if the tap out happens really quickly. I always use Brock Lesnar's first MMA match. He tapped out because he was put in a hold he knew he couldn't get out of, and the only thing that was going to do was it was going to go wrong, so he tapped out relatively quickly. And I'm always okay with that. It's up to the commentators to protect the wrestler who's tapping, so we can we can remove the stigma of tapping to a good submission hold.
Yeah, no, fair. I can understand that. I can get that. It's a bit like Taz throwing in the towel for Cage, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like knowing that you've lost in chess, like X moves time sort of thing. There is nothing you can do, so you may as well give up, sort of thing.
Next gimmick, the chess master. You heard it here first, Tony. Do it. Then we had a Derby moment. A little bit of story and build about who he is and what's going on. I don't remember much of it, if I'm honest, because it was a week ago. But I said it was fine. Said it was good. And then my notice stopped watching here because for the finale, had Jack Evans versus Christopher Daniels. Two wrestlers I very much like.
Yeah.
Two wrestlers I have already seen fight together.
Yeah.
It was... Everything was clean, like smooth, but it wasn't an exciting match.
Why did we need it?
I just found the last match a bit dull, if I'm honest, and unnecessary. You could have ended with Swole versus King, and I'd have been happy.
Yes.
I'd say it's an overall C show. I would start watching where I say to start watching and stop where I say to stop. But you could technically just pick any section of this, watch some matches, and they'd be all right. Good, you know what I mean? You wouldn't be displeased, but if you watch all an hour 45 of it, you're going to be worn out and angry by the end of it.
Only an hour 45, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Don't,
Positively
boys.
short compared to what's coming up for you next week.
I'll join in. I'll come watch it with you.
We'll power through together.
So,
Yes.
Overall, a C for Dark. Moving on, time for Dynamite, the main AEW show. We open with JR, Schiavone, Excalibur on commentary, and the first match, Top Flight versus the Young Bucks. Bucks win with the BTE trigger. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it? I'll move on to what happened afterwards.
I'm going to open with the fact that I thought the Top Flight video package was a little bit meh. They didn't really come across as like wrestlers. They were just like, yeah, we do wrestling. This is cool. But then the match started. And the match was just a really good spot fest, if I'm honest. This is the Bucks' ideal sort of match. This is the excitement I had when I first saw them, fight Private Party. The younger one of Top Flight, I want to say Dante, has a beautiful drop kick. Like, it's right up there and smooth and clean. The Bucks were on form. Great pacing. I'll always for a Spanish fly bit on the corner or in the ring. And there was an assisted lift over Nick Jackson, the younger Top Flight took from older Top Flight over and backwards. He went so high. It was like proper, like fucking 12, 15 foot high. Just a real good spot fest. I gave it a B. Wrestling, there was enough heart, enough story. Obviously not super deep story, but we got to know who they were, what they were doing, and the wrestling was just great.
Do you know what I really liked? It was really nice to see the Bucks with the belt. It was nice to actually be excited to see the belts come out and go instead of, oh no, it's FTR.
Yeah, fair.
That was really nice for me. I really enjoyed that. Gosh, these two kids were good for their age. Like, I'm sure, the Bucks, helped them quite a lot because
19.
Yeah, I know.
19.
22. But it was such a good match for their age, and if I could have been doing that at that age, I would have been impressed too. Yeah, it's definitely a B.
This was my kind of tag team match. B/A from me. I really enjoyed this. This was lots of spots, over the top. This was pure Young Bucks, and it's exactly what I expected from Top Flight and the Young Bucks.
Yeah, no, completely. Just a spot fest galore, but so smooth.
Now.
So moving on, Inner Circle Vegas Part 1.
We're going to talk about THQ attacking them?
Oh, yes, sorry. And TH2 come out to attack Top Flight. Young Bucks chase them off. I was quite pleased with this. I think if Top Flight go into a feud with TH2, I think that's probably the right tag team for them.
Yeah,
and it's probably the right team as well.
I'm with you, but they'll have to win, realistically. And TH2 have just been fucking stomped on for ages.
Yeah, unfortunately, they aren't going to get a push in AEW. There are too many tag teams, so,
Show 2 with the
Yeah.
Tag Team and Trios League.
Well,
Please.
they've been wanting to do a Trios League for ages. It was meant to be announced on the boat next year that they were going to start doing the trios.
Really?
But- Yeah, it was going to start next year in February. Well, in February, but
I'll get it for my birthday.
unfortunately, Corona and stuff like that, so
Yeah.
the tour ain't happening. But they may bring the belts out anyway, so that's why we've been seeing so many trios forming slowly.
Oh, right, take back over, Morg.
Yeah.
Or I'll talk about trios
So
forever.
yeah,
I
Inner
love
Circle
trios.
in Vegas Part 1. What did you guys think of this?
Sammy's face throughout it was great.
Sammy was beautiful. When he had his card stolen by MJF, was fucking brilliant.
Fucking Conan, Piff the Dragon. I normally complain about celebrities showing up in these things. Piff is a small British comedian stage magician, but
Yeah.
Conan is at least a wrestling legend.
Yeah,
I don't mind the wrestling legend, and Piff is so shit. I suppose it is Vegas.
it was
Well,
a
Conan
brilliant
was-
cut joke.
Conan was also there because it was an LAX reunion.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, good point.
I
Think
loved
about that.
Sammy just going, "I hate you, man," to MJF. That's such a thing you say when you're drunk. I fucking hate you, man.
You.
Yeah, just beautiful.
It's drunk strange being awful to people. The
Oh,
Hager
God.
Wardlow punch off.
Where they were just
Mutant.
destroying the mooks because they were just looking at each other the whole night and just
Yeah.
getting angry. That was brilliant.
I didn't rank this as a moment on its own. I was
No.
waiting for like the overall conclusion of it, just so
Yeah.
everybody knows.
Me too.
Yeah, that's fair. So moving on from that, we had a Mox promo. Anything to
Old
say?
Man Mox. Old Man Mox is best Mox.
Yeah, old
So
man.
much better as a grizzled barman. Obviously, I didn't rank it. It's a Mox promo. It's good.
It's a
This
big.
is the one where he announced that Renee was pregnant, isn't it? I'm trying to
Yes.
remember the timeline now.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Okay. So that's nice for them. So he's obviously dropping the belt, dropping the other belt to Kenta, and then going home to be with his wife.
Enter.
It also that now explains as to why Renee has not appeared in AEW.
Full
Wow.
of babies.
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully a baby, not multiple. Well, I guess twins, but not like a
you
swarm.
could be full of one baby.
I guess.
Moving
This is a
on.
weird conversation.
Moving on.
This
Next
is
match:
weird.
Orange Cassidy versus Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford. Miro joins Comedy. Cassidy wins with the mousetrap. What did you guys think of the match? What score did you give it?
Once again, solid start on this match. Took a bit of a while for the pace to pick up, but it did arrive in time. I didn't get annoyed. I can't say it was great, but it was definitely solid. Got a lot better after the break. Picture in picture is just the point where I know the match is going to slow down, which is fine. But I don't know now if I just prefer them to turn the cameras off and let the wrestlers have 5 minutes. But after that, we had some cool sequences. Sabian did slip on the rope at one point, which was a bit of an oh no. Yeah, it was all right. I like the mousetrap. I still think that's a cool finisher. I gave it a C. It just didn't blow my mind in any way. It was fine.
They shouldn't share the same tape. It really put me off. I know it's such a stupid thing to get annoyed by, but them having the same tape for taping up their muscles makes it look like they share the tape, which makes it look like they're, just sitting out back, going, "Oh, here's some tape, mate," sort of thing. It just annoyed me. I like the high 10 with Penelope Ford that he did.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
It was a good match, but I don't know. It just didn't click, and it was, like a lowish C for me. I think that it just wasn't there. I don't know.
That's interesting because I went the opposite way. I really enjoyed
Really?
this match. Yeah, this was great fun. I think it was more to do with the pickup at the end, and I did mark it right at the end of the match, but I gave it a B/C, so a low B.
Yeah, it's a
Does
C
make it
there.
a C.
It was, I said, all right, but we
It was fine.
need a bit more heart in this for you to care, short of they broke our arcade machine and now we're enemies.
Yes.
We're enemies for life now.
So then we had the Mox and Omega contract signing. Mox has been jumped outside, doesn't make it. We get Cleaner Kenny, who is so cool. What did you guys think of the segment and the contract signing?
The full entry
Cool.
for the signing.
Yeah.
The shades. He's got the shades, guys. This was a very wrestling section, especially with panning to, you know, the unconscious Mox and stuff and the full entrance. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying all of Shitty Kenny. I don't know if I can give it like a high score, like possibly a B, but I'm enjoying the establishing the new Kenny.
I think it was a solid B. And the only thing that I disliked about this was the stupid name of the Winter is Coming episode of AEW. Oh, fuck off.
It's awful.
Game of Thrones, you have so much to answer for. If you
Right.
heard that sound in the backwards, that was my notes falling off my lap.
Good work.
Moving on from there, we had Inner Circle Vegas Part 2. What did you guys think? And what's your overall score for Inner Circle Vegas?
This episode is a very wrestling episode.
God,
it's a
it's
very
so wrestling.
So you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, yeah.
it's all of that WWE shit we grew up on. I laughed at the listen to Elvis.
Listen to Elvis, man.
During the first part of this, Ruth turned to me and she was like, "They're just doing The Hangover," and
Yes.
this proved it. Sammy's wives. I'm honestly shocked they weren't in Mike Tyson's apartment. That's what I was gonna call fucking Swoggle in a nappy. So
When,
surreal.
MJF just had soft written all over him.
Yeah.
Ortiz was the one that, you know, gets really pissed one night and wakes up and is just working out the next day because he's not affected by it at all. Sammy's sleeping in a fountain.
I'm
I
gonna
always
go with
wanted
you
to know
boys.
a moment.
I'm going to go with you boys ranking this, and I'm going to act as the adjudicator afterwards because I'm not quite sure where my opinion sits because it was great
It was
and there was a lot of
bollocks.
bullshit, but it was bollocks basically.
I think it was an A. I think it was solid. I think it was great. I enjoyed it. It made me laugh. The Swoggle ending always makes me laugh because Swoggle's a brilliant character. He's wasted when he was in the WWE.
He loved wrestling. So
Yes, mate.
much.
And Muppets. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think an A. I think that.
And I
went with an A.
agree.
Yeah, I think that went with an A.
Oh, so good.
So, Kingston joins commentary. We very briefly had Chris Jericho there.
Just appeared and disappeared.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
happened there?
He just. He
I've
was
actually
just there.
got Jericho joins commentary, and then it's crossed out, and Kingston joins commentary written straight after it. So
What happened? What happened?
I have no idea.
Did he have to
Um,
return to his home planet?
I think so. So yeah, Kingston joins commentary. Pac versus Blade with the Butcher and Bunny. Pac wins with the Brutalizer. Again, I will go into what happened afterwards. What did you guys think of the match, and what score did you give it?
So this opened really strong. There was actually a moment of Eddie like mocking the British on his on commentary.
What does he do? Eat Oreos? That man, a fucking slab of muscles that's never seen a sweet in his life.
No, my favourite thing was like, I don't know what they do in England.
When
or
he
in
lived
Britain,
in
whatever.
Wolvo.
When he lived in Wolvo and went to training that I went to. Yeah, you don't know, Eddie. Good character.
I would
work.
like to point out, and I said this to the Raptor at the time, I'm sure any of our American listeners, you don't get this. When Pac talks, his accent is a thing of fear in this country. Yeah. You think?
Oh no,
you,
it's
you,
a
you
Geordie.
think you think that Eddie sounds tough? No. On the level
sounds tough.
of Pac's accent versus Eddie's accent, I'm sorry, one of those accents will have British people quaking in their boots. I had two Goth friends, very classic, quite effeminate Goth guys. They would go into bars, guys would start muscling up, and they would then purposefully order a drink very loudly. The guys muscling up would hear the accent and melt back into their seats.
If you're from the north, you're hard. If you're from the south, you're soft.
weak.
And if you're a Geordie, what Pac wears to the ring, those pants, that is standard winter wear in
That's
Newcastle.
true. That's fucking true. I've been out drinking up north, and you just watch all the women coming out in tiny skirts and high heels, and you're like, it's -18, love.
Yeah,
So
and the men are in their
before you
underpants.
die. Yeah.
Right, back to the match.
Yes,
About wrestling.
back to the match.
There was a few things in this that looked really rough. Blade did a rope throw on Pac, and it looked fucking painful. I like the fact that Pac only took damage from dirty play. That kept him actually look really strong without, obviously, it just being a squash. And Pac still sells like a fucking beast. He's just so good.
Yep.
It picked up post-break. I think my favourite part of the match is when Pac went up for the Black Arrow. Obviously looked like he couldn't get it ready in time. And just pulled off a shooting star press. You know. Imagine Matt Sydal in the back. Same corner as well. Just a single tear rolling down his face.
Oh, it's a bit wobbly. Best that he do the shooting star.
Yeah, you know. And then into the brutalizer, obviously.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this wasn't the Pac match I was hoping for him to come back. Like, it was solid, and there were some good moments, but I can't. Previously, Pac just like rolled in B's through S's to us, like they were raining from the sky. And I can't realistically give this more than a C. It had enough story, enough build-up, but it just wasn't there.
Which is depressing, because I was super excited to have Pac back. Because
you know, mate, I'd rather have had like an exhibition of Pac entering the ring, but it didn't blow my mind.
He'll be fine. It was just first match back.
I'm kind of glad you gave it that, because I gave it C/B.
Yeah, it just wasn't quite there, was it? We've seen so much from Pac. Mate, like, I like Blade, but Blade's more of a brawler. Maybe he just can't. He's just not at that Pac level. I mean, not in a harsh way. Different styles of wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if he's got the, you can adjust to someone like Pac. Mr. Muir, your score and any other
definitely
thoughts?
a C. No, it was a bit of an awkward match. The Doctor Bomb that Pac did was fucking beautiful, though. I have to pull that out. That was really crisp in the middle of the ring. And, it was just a C. Like, as much as I'm a massive Pac mark, I'm going to have to vote fairly with him.
So, following on from that, beat down on Pac. Fenix comes in for the save. This was a beat down by Kingston and Butcher and Blade. Fenix comes for the save, then Penta comes out with a chair and sides with Pac and Fenix. Reforming Death Triangle. What do you guys think of this?
Completely worth it.
I think this is what pulled the B for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm very excited. I'm very happy this happened. I do want, I would very much like for them to explain the history of Triangolo della Muerte. The fact that, Penta might be Eddie's best friend, but this stable is a stable from like 50, 60 years ago. This is a lasting legacy luchador trio, and taking somebody into that culture and forming that trio in that way is a significant thing for them. You know what I mean? It's not just...
Oh, you're in my stable now. You're not a member of the NWO. It's actually important. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got story. But I fucking popped. I'm very excited. I'm glad they're back together.
I'm looking forward to Penta versus Kingston, I think, just as much as I was Pac versus Kingston.
Mate. I'm not interested in Pac versus Kingston. I want Lucha Underground, Penta versus Eddie Kingston. That's what I want.
In a murder match with fire and barbed wire and blood and glass. And...
everything. I'm not much one for the death match, but that will be boss.
I am.
So, moving on, Jade attack. There was a Jade backstage attack on Brandy. It was all right.
It was like 30 seconds. I didn't even rank it. I just wrote Whammins dub.
Yeah.
I need to see some lines drawn and need to know who's being fed to Brandy.
I'm a little worried that you've got Jade, who's very, very new and her first real wrestling thing. I mean, she looks fantastic, but her first real wrestling thing is with Brandy. When it comes to on the mic, it's going to be great because we know how great Brandy is. But I do wonder.
The match is going to be awful.
Unfortunately, you can't use Serena for it now. More on her in a moment. And I don't know who you put her with that's a good hand for her to work with, who's got the experience.
Also, I mean, like Jade, weirdly into a moment on fitness here. Jade is quite a tall woman as well, isn't she? And muscle weighs more than fat. She is going to be a heavy lass to maneuver in that ring compared to a lot of them, because she's sculpted like a fucking Amazonian. I mean this 100%. In the most flattering of ways. I would not fight that woman.
She'd kick your ass, mate.
I don't even know if she knows any martial arts. Like, I wouldn't fight Tay Conte because she's like got those Brazilian jiu-jitsu and such. Like, I wouldn't fight Jade Cargill, and I know nothing about
your hand
her.
Would smash.
Yeah, exactly. She'd punch me, and I'd turn to dust, and you'd have to hoover up my remains and bury the vax.
Yeah, we shall see where that goes. But moving on to Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb for the NWA Women's Championship. Serena wins. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
I think I probably like this match more than most of the people because I'm down with a grounded fucking NWA match, and that's what this was. It was all real solid. There's a fucking wicked corner stretch move from Deeb that I loved. Rosa's through the rope corner clothesline fucking thing is wicked, and like it wasn't great, and it did pick up post the commercial break. And I think a few more impacts and spots would have really helped it. Not too many, but just, a handful more of big slams or something with a bit of flair would have pushed this up more into the people's ratings, basically. Suddenly, Britt shows up to take up Rosa, obviously to build a feud because Rosa's blatantly signed. Then near the end, it dragged on a little bit. They were tiring, and you could tell. Otherwise, it was solid, and I need to see where it's all going to go. But I gave it a C. It was. I think this was good, and I think with a few more impacts and a little bit of pickup, it would have been a B for me because I enjoy a grounded, fucking rough and tumble wrestling style. But I can see why other people didn't enjoy it as much as I might have.
I was talking to Zach while watching the match, and he was like, this is a bit dull because he likes more fast-paced and indie wrestling. And I was like, it's a very 1980s match. And as soon as I said that to him, they locked in the figure 4, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so 80s, it's hurting me.
Roll it over. Just roll it over.
Just roll it over! But yeah, no, it was definitely a C match. They've done better before. I 100% believe that these two are great wrestlers. They just wasn't there. And the run-in really annoyed me because it just made them look like dorks. It's like, why have a run-in if you're not going to end the match with the run-in?
Yeah, that was the part of the problem.
Yeah.
What do you think, Morg?
I'm outvoted again. I really enjoyed this match. I loved watching all the technical mat-based women's match. It added an extra dimension to it. Was two really good wrestlers who I really like, both of them. I was in that I don't care who wins because I like them both.
Both good, yeah.
Thunder Rosa has very much won me over. I'm only used to her as being in a previous incarnation as being Cobra Moon from Lucha Underground, and her greatest moment ever, the introduction of the greatest wrestling character name of all time, and that has no guarantee that when the Raptor listens to this, she will be giggling.
I'm already laughing.
Yeah.
God.
But yes, I gave it a B. I really enjoyed this match.
I just don't think it was quite there. I think this is what we should come to expect. I mean that like respectfully. A C is good. A C has enough story and solid wrestling. But it's not like my eyes were glued to the screen. You know what I mean?
I think this was, in the most nicest way, this was a solid C, as in C for wrestling, not AEW women's wrestling. This was a C match for wrestling.
I think the problem is, watching an actual C match in AEW's women's wrestling does push it up to a B for me.
Yeah.
I'm so starved.
Yeah. So hungry.
So moving on from there, John Silver and Anna Jay backstage promo. Any thoughts?
Anakin promo fine. Don't overuse
Oh,
Silver, Tony.
you don't need Silver.
We enjoy Silver's weirdness, but now he's showing up all the time. It's starting to wear
He's
a little.
becoming very scrappy dude to me at the moment. He just keeps appearing everywhere. It's like, look at me, I'm here.
And
it's
Anna
like, oh.
doesn't need him. It was
No.
This was an indie corridor promo. This is what I expect on Chikara before a match with two people stood in a back room.
Just fine.
Which is fine, but not not when the woman doesn't need it and the man's being over promoted.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, pretty much the same. I didn't need Silver there.
no, not at all.
I appreciate.
them.
I mean, I suppose there is an argument, just to play devil's advocate a bit, that Silver being so over at the minute gives Anna Jay a bit of a rub, but I don't think Anna Jay needs the rub in the women's division because she's really good and been proving that she's really good.
I think it
She
only
is very
hurts
popular
Silver.
on the internet.
Yes.
Oh, I
She's
wonder
very
why.
Marketability on Anna
yes.
Jay.
So Taz joins the commentary. Ricky Starks and Cage versus Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes. We then had a Darby Allin video package. It was not a Guinness advert, but a Crow trailer. I liked this.
It was a Crow trailer, thinking about it now.
That's not what I wrote. I wrote it feels a bit more like a perfume advert. Everything's got a bit sausage, you know. The
Oh no!
very-
This was a trailer for This was a trailer for Sting joining them.
Oh, God. Please, no.
Well, I'll take the Gothic expert, as I am probably one of the least Gothic people
Gothic
on the
man
planet.
ever. Yeah.
on the earth. I listen to ska music and wear Hawaiian shirts and have a mohawk.
I'm pretty sure that Darby Allin probably listens to music more similar to you than he does to me.
100%.
No, he's in that. He's in that.
He listens to Good Charlotte. We all know this.
He's in that
Silver
Tiger
said so.
Army category. He's in like the Alkaline
Army,
Trio
yeah.
leaning style of punk.
Yeah.
Not that I don't bust that shit out every now and then. Don't get me wrong.
Anyway, remember when we were reviewing wrestling?
Hi there, welcome to my Matt Strange Reviews Punk and Reggae podcast.
So, final match.
And then Cage wins with a top rope drill claw. What did you
That's
guys
right.
Core.
I was very jaded going into this.
Me too.
And
Also,
I have been.
Cody
What?
coming out last really annoyed me. I
No,
don't know why.
I thought that was phenomenal. I was angry that Team Taz entered before the commercial break because that's normally a death sentence.
Yes, man.
I even wrote down Team Taz versus Team Wins. I thought Cody entering after the champ was very Cody. I thought that was great.
Eat first.
Daddy eats first. That is the heel we know Cody is.
Yeah.
Darby and Starks are so smooth together. Like, we thought that originally, I didn't think they got on. They were hurting each other in the rings. But no, they're just so smooth together. There was a weird sound throughout this that Ruth points out, which was a weird clippy sound. And I think it was one of the commentators either tapping their pen or clicking the top of it, and it annoyed me. Just bugged me through it.
Yeah, fair.
Cage ate a lot of shit from Cody.
He did, didn't he?
Like, Cody didn't put Cage over at all. He was just, like, battered him. But then he got better Cage got to be a bit better than him after the break, which was a little bit better, but then they just sort of tagged out. All solid, arguably a lot of cool moments. Picked up, and we got a really good rolling move sequence towards the end. Though, I don't know, the ending just seemed to sort of come out of nowhere. Like, don't get me wrong, the fucking drill claw off the top corner. And
yeah, it was.
Darby sold it like The Rock selling a stunner. He probably rolled up on his head.
Yeah.
He was fucking wicked. But overall, the match didn't blow. Maybe I'm too jaded this week because I still gave this match a C.
No, I think it was
without the ending point. Yeah, the match just didn't blow my mind. I think Cody spent too long just beating Cage. The highlights were with Darby with any of the opposition, and
yeah, Darby gave the opposition so much, but he is better when he's giving, like taking bumps. But
the indestructible crackhead, you beat him for a while, he does something cool.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's why he's great.
What did you boys give it?
I give it a high C.
Now I will allow you to rank.
I give it a high C. I think that, like, without us meta knowing that Cody's meant to be turning into this heel sort of thing, I think it's a bit awkward. Like, he needs to give more of a sign. I think it's almost too, like, in the background, too subversive. I don't know. What do you think on that?
Go on, Morg. You're the fan of everybody of
Team Good.
Of Team Good. You are the face boy.
It was a good match. C/B, high C. I enjoyed it. Was nicely surprised by the ending. I think you've got Cody's got to come out last because he got about 17 entrances. But yeah, I think it's all playing towards. I was just really hoping the lights were going to go out and Sting was going to appear and
another face
and drop Taz. C overall for that one. Team Taz beat down Darby and Cody. Will Hobbs comes out for the save and then hits Cody with the FTW belt and finally joins Team Taz. To be fair, long-term storytelling, they've been picking it up for a while.
This is actually really good booking because I've complained multiple times that Hobbs has come out stupidly late and never done anything. And he's actually just been on their side and just been playing up that he's trying to help them, which is fucking brilliant booking that I was bought into. So I think it was an S tier because it, surprised me.
It did surprise me. I was jaded and I was cynical, and Hobbs, because Muir was a step ahead of me watching this, and I was like, oh boy, I can't wait for Hobbs to come out. And then Hobbs came out and I was like, oh great. And then he hit Cody and I was like, what? And then they all stood in the ring and Taz posed weirdly in his old
great.
photo pose. It really pleased me. There's so much beef on that team. It's unreal.
Beef!
They've got like every ethnicity other than an Asiatic person. It's
if
great.
Only they could have Yucca.
They just need a Whammons now. They just need a Whammons or two. I'll take a Whammons tag team. Yeah, I was really excited. I didn't rank it. I suppose I could agree to an A. It's been a while since we've seen heels stand tall at the end of an episode, I suppose.
It was just the booking of that Hobbs had always been late and, never hit any of them and stuff like that, but always looked like he was on their side. And I was just like, oh, good work.
Yeah, good.
So,
you have any...
no, I don't have anything to add to what you guys have said. So, Mr. Strange, what's our overall score for Dynamite this week?
We've got 4 C's, 2 B's, and 2 A's. So I think overall it's a B. It's it all sort of rounds out to have been. It goes up a bit, it goes a little down a little bit, but we had heart, we've got story, we've had some solid wrestling, some good wrestling. But overall, I think we've got a B rank show there. We've got a.
I really enjoyed this
Be
show.
fair, we brushed over it as well. I liked the Britt Baker, and I didn't mention at the end, the Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa pull apart at the end, moving Thunder Rosa away, and we've got another women's storyline that actually looks like a feud and a story setting up.
Until one of them's injured.
Yeah.
And leaves forever.
So there you have it. That's our review of the week. That's our thoughts. If you'd like to send us your thoughts, you could send them to us. But first, before I tell you where to send them to, we've got a couple of questions this week.
Son. Jesus.
So, first question. Have you got who it's from? Mr. Strange.
Right. Oh shit! Did I have a question?
I think I've actually got this one because it came through Facebook.
Am I going to have to come up with a
no? We've got
name on the fly.
We've got the actual name. I just need to. So we're obviously very, very on the ball here.
Jack Hamfist.
No.
Dirk run fast. Been put on the spot. Quick, come up with wrestlers' names. Well, I've got a question. I wrote down what the one was. If
do you want to do the other question, and I will find the one that I've got the thing for?
I'm not going to lie to you, Morg. I don't know what the other question is. I've only got one question. I had a rant challenge.
The question is why are the execs in AEW
Yeah.
and who they are? I don't know who that was from.
Why are the AEW executives the way they are? Wasn't that the one from the Raptor?
No. That was the one from Zach Hardfist, who isn't.
Oh, okay.
Who isn't Zach, who appeared on the show for Full Gear at all in the slightest. Who?
Sorry, boys. I've
Discord bombed our production meeting.
We're 3 days later, so obviously the shit's going.
Yeah.
Why are AEW's executives the way they are? Well, I'll tell you. Cody Rhodes is one of the head executives. Cody Rhodes is grandchild. Fuck me. Is a famous legacy wrestler. There's a few legacy wrestlers out there. There's Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and so on. And Cody helped found the AEW. Unfortunately, Cody, like his father, seems to be a bit of a mark for himself. But there's a mix here because Cody will put himself over and will get to the upper mid card and has put things in to limit himself. But Cody also has that as his character. Cody wants to come out last. Cody is the one who puts, as he said in Impact or Ring of Honor, people come here to watch me. The only person who puts money in that seat, puts people in those seats is me. I am the one who puts money into the family. I am the one who puts food on the table, and Daddy eats first. And it's obviously rolling him back into that character. Randy, it looks like, has caught the same condition. Unfortunately, is not a top-tier wrestler. Sadly.
God.
Yeah. Kenny Omega is also an executive. He deals with Japanese talent and the women's division. Kenny, obviously famous for the things he achieved in NJP Dub, in Stardom, in DDT. Unfortunately, Kenny and Cody, as far as it's known, clash a little bit. Kenny will be known to ask for things at the last minute, like what if we got a bunch of giant poker chips in massive stacks a week before the event and such like, or I want to make a bed made out of barbed wire. So Kenny, it looks like, is still 20% DDT at all times. That's the wrestling promotion.
I can't blame him.
But they have fights in swimming pools. Just remember what Chucky D said. If you ever feel sad for anybody, just know that Trent did 3 years in Japan and didn't do a single tour of DDT. It's wonderful.
He has no soul.
The Bucks, I would argue, have actually done things the best on the executive scale. Their characters are massive marks for themselves. They've consistently put other people over and have pushed up. But they're also arguably the most indie of the executive set. Cody never really had to travel around to do the indies until he left WWE. And then by then he was Cody Rhodes. You know what I mean? Kenny started on the indies, then went over and became a Japanese icon and blew shit away. So that's where his weird quirkiness and ego comes from. Also, he's never really had access to props other than a broom because JPW doesn't do that shit, in essence. Whereas the Bucks were like indie through and through, had a small NJPW run, but not massive. So I'd say that's why AEW executives are the way they are. Cody Rhodes is a WWE boy in his heart, trying to shape a bunch of indie wrestlers. Kenny Omega is crazy. Brandy is married to Cody, and the Bucks are just indie shitters through their souls.
That's why they made the best division so far.
One other quick thing, just on the why. Also, you have to remember that the whole of AEW was formed by a tweet from Dave Meltzer when he basically said he didn't think that an indie show could put on, was it a 20,000 seat stadium or something like that?
Basically a full main event job.
A full, and Cody went challenging, a bet accepted, and made all in. And sold it out.
Appeared.
Yeah, and then sold it out in minutes.
Like a day, yeah. Minutes left. No.
So our other question that I have now found by
Good work.
scrolling back. So I have a question for this week's podcast. It's from Anonosaurus, and it's this.
Could be anyone.
Yeah, Nick has said that there are too many wrestlers on AEW. Discounting enhancement talent, who would you like to see move on to a different promotion/role, and why?
Ooh.
Penny to return to DDT and Ibushi to return to DDT.
I think half of the women in AEW could do with 2 years in Stardom. I mean that wholeheartedly.
Don't ruin my Stardom.
Stardom basically turns it into their lifestyle, and people
Yes,
get
mate.
real good real quick.
Yes,
If I had to pick people to go, I would actually send Tay Conte to Stardom, not because I think she needs it massively, but I think her style could be enhanced
she'd
by
be
theirs.
great in Stardom. I think Anna Jay could do well with it because she's got quite a lot of natural talent. So just being put through the motions with Stardom would really help her.
I think Britt, Brandy, and everybody are fine in AEW. I don't think they need to be moved on. Brandy's actually been in Stardom for like 6 months, if I recall.
Yes, she has.
I would send. Oh, I mean, Cage in NJP Dub would be great. They'd love him.
He would, wouldn't he?
They'd fucking
But do you want
love
to
it.
lose him from AEW?
No, I don't.
But he would be great in NJP.
You guys know more American promotions than me. I'm going to be sending people off to like fucking Chikara and GWC.
I'd be sending a whole bunch of the women off to NXT. And then snaffling them back quickly before they got the main roster.
The main roster's a death sentence. If Io Shirai won't go to the main roster, you know you shouldn't go to the main roster. She's one of the best wrestlers there is.
Finn Balor went back to NXT. He never wanted to leave it in the first place.
No Dimes Devlin.
Yeah.
No Dimes Devlin.
Who would we send
the
away,
originator of the Bullet Club.
Oh yeah, we agree on this. But
we can send Dustin Rhodes away.
Dustin Rhodes.
Anyway,
I think Dustin actually should be there. So moving to a different role, move him to their head trainer. Move him away from active and put him in as the head trainer. He is a genius trainer and he has so much knowledge. I mean, when Dustin is good, Dustin is good. I mean, our first episode the joke was who is the best veteran wrestler and why is it Dustin, even though we did come out that it was actually Jericho. The joke originally was, why is it Dustin? When he's good, he is phenomenally good.
Yeah, I think you could take him. The bottom half of the tag division and send it to WWE because they don't have any tag divisions because they split all of theirs up. So I think they can do with that.
Can I give Trent an additional job on top of being a wrestler? Can he be head of social media?
He isn't social.
He is. He is exactly what I want. Him or Chucky T. Best friends in charge of social media. In honesty, I like most of the people we've got. As I said, I think some of the women could do with a tour in Stardom. I think some of the men could possibly do with a tour in DDT to take themselves a little bit less seriously.
That would help. I think the issue is we like most of the people. It's just there's getting too many of them now.
We need the second show.
We need a second show.
That's actually a second show. Yeah, that's actually... Or turn Dark into a proper show.
Yeah.
Some regulation. Especially when you're going to make it the length of a pay-per-view.
Oh, God.
For
those of you that have not noticed, we have looked at the time for this week's Dark, and it's long.
Nearly 3 hours.
The one we will be reviewing next week. So, yeah, that's our questions. I hope you appreciated the answers. If you'd like to send us a question, you can send them to us at wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, WrestleOP1 on Twitter. You could also, if you wanted to, you could send us something to rant about so that we can just drop something on Mr. Strange for him to rant about that is completely and utterly from out of nowhere. Now, Mr. Strange, before you go into this, I appreciate you've got to do a rant here that was sent in by a listener. So I'm just going to remind you that this week's Dark is nearly 3 hours long that you've got to watch. That should help you get angry. and the question is, why is Darby's face paint suddenly so bad? Over to you for your rant of the week.
I mean, it's not why is it suddenly so bad, is it? Because it was shit originally. Like, we saw him.
Terrible.
We saw him painting with his fucking fingers and stuff in the back alley, back alleys and in the bathroom. And that was cool because it sort of lent to this dirty, gothy, punky rocker, man. I've been to the 30-year celebration of punk and seen people with that grade of face paint on. You know, you can just do it when you're there, can't you? Like, a kid's Halloween holiday, trip out. Not this year, though, due to the lockdown. But then we had this beautifully done, fucking semi-sculpted job with the fucking full Yggdrasil painted up him, and it was fucking cool. But we've seen that level of effort before. We've seen him with Relentless written up his body with the bad face, and obviously he needs help for that. Why go back? Why go back to shit? I mean, doing a bit of face paint isn't hard once you've lost it. I've done full fucking detailed Tiger Man with contrasts, 3 different kinds of whites and grey, and that's a whole face all over in a half-lit toilet in a campsite in Kent, and slept with it, and it's looked fucking dope. Do you know what I did? I bought good face paints. Didn't use fucking water-based. And I don't expect the entire fucking tree of incantation over it every time, but just nail the face. It's not hard. You buy a couple of brushes, you maybe even make a fucking template. It's white and black. He doesn't even fucking dress it up with grey. It's not like you need a full fucking makeup team to do this. I have seen circles of half-dressed, shit-faced people painting complicated spirals on themselves in a matter of about 3 to 4 minutes. Because you know what? Once you've done it once or twice,
you get good at it.
You get a rhythm. Then just fucking sponge paint yourself half in a colour and get your mate to draw on you in a pen. It's not hard. Come on now, Darby. You are the world champion. Come on now. I'm not mocking Northern Irish accents. I've just watched a lot of videos recently with Irish people. Anyway, come on now, Darby. You are the champion. You have risen up from the tiny crack alley hero who smeared shit on with his fingers. You could have that makeup team on call. You could arrive on site an hour early and sit through 40 minutes of makeup. Or do you know what you could do, mate? You could buy a £3 set of brushes, a set of black, grey and white from, what's the name of the good face paint company, Muir?
Crayonna, or whatever it's called. Crayonna, or whatever. The one we got.
Oil-based. They won't rub off and your sweat will come through. Just do that, Darby. Spend a couple of minutes practicing. Draw some little teeth. Maybe get a piece of plastic, cut out a template. Then you can just stencil it on. You're a grown man. You're in your 30s. Your social life isn't great from what I understand in recent times. You are the champion, the face of the company. Put some fucking effort in. Finger painting is for children. Proper painting is for Cody Rhodes. Be Cody Rhodes. Even Dustin, who is a 50-something-year-old man who pulls off 70 Canadian destroyers a day and squashes jobbers every morning for breakfast, could put decent face paint on half of his face for back scene sections where he does fuck all. Fucking Dustin can apparently wear that shit all day, so he's got to be touching it up. If he could do that, you can do it for your half-hour match. Come on, Darby. Dress the fuck up. Lazy prick.
So there you go. There you have Mr. Strange's rant of the week.
It's not hard, is it?
Now for our weekly discussion piece where we chat about something. Mr. Muir, what have you got for us this week?
I remember now. Wrestlers on commentary, I think it was, wasn't it? Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember now.
We're given a big white picture. I'm trying to say picture, but the computer picture.
Computer picture.
Yeah, yes. We were given a big white computer picture, which literally says discussion wrestlers on commentary with more.
Well, I'm sorry, it's been like 4 days, and I don't remember things.
I just put the picture on the screen
because I'm not near my screen. Anyway, so it's wrestlers on commentary. What are our feelings on this?
A lot of them aren't good, are they? Let's be honest. I complained about well, before we even get into wrestlers on commentary, I'm going to complain about Anthony Ogogo on commentary.
He's on Dark again this week.
Oh, fuck off!
No.
Sometimes it's great. Sometimes you get some great band. Like arguably my two favorite people on the commentary are wrestlers. It's Excalibur, ex-wrestler, and Taz, ex-wrestler. One of my favorite commentary team, well, half of one of my favorite commentary teams was Matt Striker, who was a previous wrestler. Knowing
Hero
wrestling,
was also a wrestler too.
Yeah, but Vampiro wasn't good on commentary.
Brother.
Take a drink.
Sometimes
Didn't hook
it
the
really
leg.
didn't hook the leg. Sometimes it works really well, and sometimes they get into it. We saw it with the first Ricky Starks on Dark. The first time he didn't really get him. He didn't quite have the bands and stuff. He didn't quite know what he's doing. But now he's been on a few. It's actually pretty good, and I enjoy his bants with Excalibur and Taz, even though Taz has better bants with Excalibur than with Ricky, who's on his team. Then there was that time Britt was on commentary. Remember that?
Yeah.
Britt Baker on commentary?
No, I scoured it from my mind.
Well, listeners, if you weren't listening to or watching AEW at that time, it wasn't good. She pretty much sat there in silence, and every now and then I'd be like, "What do you think, Britt?" And she'd be like, "That one bad. Me like this one win." And it was kind of that. It was fucking horse. And unfortunately, that's sort of the standard for just adding one to the commentary. Like, don't get me wrong, we've got some exceptional ones. Jericho is great whenever he has to be on commentary, and obviously that's where he's going to retire to. I know Morg doesn't always get on with Eddie on commentary, but I think he's great. I like the fact he's respectful of JR, but hates Tony Schiavone.
I have to admit, I liked Miro on commentary this week with Kip. Miro gets it as well. He seems to have it. And it's one of those things, I don't think it's just something you can naturally do. One of the things is you've got the not knowing how to call the match, so to speak. Ricky is starting to get it because I think working with Excalibur and Taz, they have the banter calling the match. And Excalibur is the one who's calling the match, and Ricky is very much picking up. And I am much preferring Ricky's stuff. Looking at WWE, I found out this week, because I haven't watched it for ages, watching Survivor Series, that Samoa Joe is now on commentary. And he was really, really good. It was always the classic setup. You always had the ex-wrestler being, is it the color commentator?
The color commentator.
Yeah, doing the color commentating. But when you just suddenly grab a wrestler and go, let's have you on commentary, generally they're not very good.
No.
I can think of two examples where it worked in early AEW Dark. Near the Chucky T and Colt Cabana both did commentary with Excalibur, and the reason it worked, even though they weren't prepared, is because of how well they know Excalibur. Yeah, they're
mates, yeah.
They're Chikara indie boys, so he could make a lot of his comfortable jokes, like Falcon Arrow things, and it blended. But when you just take
Miss Wrestler,
I think Colt's done commentary before though, and I think Colt's got a bit. I think Colt's he's an unfair one to put in there because he's been proper colored commentator and therefore has got the experience with it. Because I've heard him doing color commentary on other indie stuff.
I think he does some of the $5 wrestling.
Yeah, he does do $5 wrestling.
Yeah,
$5 wrestling. If you haven't heard about it, was done by High Spots, which is a shitlord wrestling channel basically, and they'd get shows from $5 back, mud wrestling from people's gardens or in a local pub or stuff, and commentate it like it was a WWE pay-per-view. It's fucking gold if you enjoy mocking people who aren't very good at wrestling.
I need to watch this. Another one who's good, completely not AEW, not WWE, Joe Hendry.
Oh, Joe Hendry's fucking wicked, and I love him. He should be everywhere.
Yeah,
More
AEW, please. That's somebody that I'll quite happily have AEW steal.
One I don't like. She's probably the most up and down woman in AEW for me. I think Brandy seems lovely and has phenomenal promo game and
she's
really
not
good
very
presence.
Good on commentary.
She buries.
Is it? She's not, is she?
Buries them so hard, and it's like, oh come on. You have to give him, like, when Taz is saying, oh, I don't like them, he's always saying why they're so good and why he doesn't like them.
Oh, we got to watch out for that and stuff like that.
Well, Brandy just goes, you're shit. And it's like, well, that doesn't build the baby face at all, does it?
Or the heel that's supposed to be so you're actually beating somebody who's good.
Yeah.
It's even worse in those situations. I think wrestlers, a lot of the time, they're so used to your job is you have to put this person down. That is what your
from
promo
the Jericho
game
school of
is.
the Jericho school of make yourself look stupid whilst making them look stupid at the same time.
Yeah,
or whichever way you're playing it.
But yeah, I think a lot of it is your promo game is Brandy is so good at cutting a promo because she can tear her opponent apart verbally, and that's all right when you're cutting a promo. That's perfectly acceptable because you're supposed to be the one coming out on top of this verbal sparring. But when you're on commentary, that's not what you're doing. You're talking about how good they are.
You're inspiring everyone. You're meant to go, oh my God, this future threat to me, but I will be ready because I am stronger. Not I will beat them because they're shit. I will beat the strong man is better than I will beat the shit person.
It's all right because Layla Hirsch is going to tear her arm off and beat her to death with the bloody end.
God, I love her. She's so fucking great. She's so small and angry and fightery. Matt Strange's new weird obsession. Do you fancy her? God, no. I just want to watch her fight.
Any final thoughts on wrestlers on commentary? Should they just stop doing it?
Only use mid-carders. High-card people aren't very good at it. And
they have to be an indie shitter.
Cody sorry, go on, Muir.
They have to be an indie shitter to be good on it because they have to have the bants and the jokes to be able to carry it.
Hint of self-depreciation.
Yeah, if they're too serious as a character, it doesn't work because you need to have that enjoyment out of it. Like Taz is like, he was this serious character, but he's really grumpy and angry all the time. He's just a moody old dad, which is great, you know?
Yes, it does work. Quickly, I mean, we did have those two darks, so we had Kenny and Cody was really good at commentary. Kenny wasn't good the first time, but was much better the second time. I remember that from early dark, when we first hit the COVID era.
Cody knows how to, even if he's going to squash people, Cody does know how to
the crowd,
pull a crowd and put people over. I've never quite got Kenny on commentary just because he's a bit of a light. Kenny, you know, he doesn't have.
He's a dork.
He's a fucking dork. Yeah, Kenny. Please, Tony, don't tell Kenny I called him a dork.
He'll rip you up. Just tear you in half.
We are going to be hoovering you up.
Just loads of buff people going around to punch me.
Hey, at least when all this COVID stuff's over and you can start your wrestling training again, we'll have a whole bunch of feuds ready for you.
Just shuffle me straight off to A-dubs. Here's all the things he said about you.
Oh no.
Cody will bully me out and DDP will tell me not to be near him.
DDP would never say a nasty thing to anyone. Come on.
Yeah, DDP, it's impossible for him to say anything nasty. That's somebody they should steal for commentary, actually.
Yeah. Is he too lovely? Well, apparently not. Apparently he bullied a chubby man with a beard.
I'm dubious.
Or apparently he may have told a chubby man with a beard not to
be near the man who has a black wife after you've said the N-word. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that as well. Maybe don't.
Just for your own sake,
boys.
Well, there you go. That's our show for the week. We're sorry it's a bit late, and of course this isn't going to be uploaded till even later after we've recorded it. I'd like to thank Anchor.fm for hosting the podcast. If you want to find us, we are Wrestleopinionated on YouTube. We are Wrestleopinionated on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor.fm. Over to you, Mr. Muir.
Thank you very much for all listening. Sorry that it's so late. It's not my fault. It's everybody else's. And let's move on. If you'd like to send us in any questions, it'll be wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP1 on Twitter. Over to you, Strange. Whose fault it is?
At the shits on Sunday. Right, okay. I'm prepared for the last bit because I've been reading up on algorithms. So here's our cynical ending. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button. Remember to watch this on YouTube. Please do send in some shit. Whatever it is on the other ones on I've forgotten Spotify. That's the name of it. Click the high ranking buttons. Please share it with your mates. We do appreciate you listening. Back to you, Morg.
Sure. Fucking travesty.
All that's left to be said is goodbye, good night, and fuck you, Craig.